everyone, it's Rita with Everything Homemade, and it's time to transplant our gojis. And what I'm doing is I am transplanting them because they have just strongly come out with their second set of leaves. Now, even though they don't look that big, which they really aren't, they're nice and short and stubby, but you want to get them into their separate pot now and let them just develop their roots without being disturbed. So right now is a really critical time to get them transplanted. What I have here is all my containers are in a basket, so that way they're easy to move around. I made sure that I had enough. The 500 gram yogurt containers is all I'm using. You can use solo cups, anything like that, just be creative. So I just completely lined this basket with 15 of those yogurt tubs. And so I have about 16 plants here. One's kind of struggling, so I may or may not use that, but I hate to chuck any gojis because gojis are really resilient after, and they make it through a tough stage. They just grow like crazy. So the next thing you want to make sure you have is some potting soil. So I do have a bale of potting soil here that is right beside my basket. So I'm not, moving all over the place. I have everything at my fingertips right here that I need. Right beside me as well, I do have my watering can. You do need some nice water. And obviously I have a table here that I'm working on. So right now everything is lit up because I do have a grow light right on top of me here. I have the BP 1000 grow light that is lighting everything up. So I have everything set. And the other thing before I forget is you need a spoon. So a spoon, a popsicle stick, something like that to help you pop out your goji. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is fill up my containers with dirt. Now that I have my 15 containers filled with dirt, now what I'm going to do is just give each container a little bit of water. Just a little bit. My dirt's a little bit drier than what I want. Now, if your potting soil is a little bit damper, then omit this step. But mine kind of, you can kind of see it. It's pretty light, kind of fluffy, and I don't want that. I want a little more moisture in here. So when I pack my little goji berry, when I pack my little plants, the dirt actually supports the plant a lot better. Now I'm going to stress here again, do not plant goji plants in a same container. They hate being transplanted. So this is the only time that I am going to transplant these gojis until I transplant them outside again. That way I don't disturb their roots. I can just pop them right out of these containers easily, and I have the least amount of shock as possible. All right, 2 more to go here. So the very first thing before I pop them out is I'm actually going to just make a little hole right in the middle and get it ready. And I'm going to do that to a couple of them, so I can do a few back to back here. So I'm going to do it to that one, and then to this one right here. So once I got that made, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently take my spoon about an inch away from the plant, and I'm going to put it in as an angle. So I'm not going straight up and down. I am putting it in an angle, so when I go down, I'm kind of scooping underneath it. So that way I'm kind of scraping, if there's any roots at the bottom of the container, I'm kind of scooping it all up. So I'm coming from here, I'm going to press all the way down until I can feel my container till I know that I've touched the bottom, and then I'm going to go under. And then what I'm going to do is take my hand, because I know there's a goji right here, and I'm going to press down on that dirt while I pull up this guy here, and that way the dirt doesn't lift and disturb this one. So I'm going to just put my hand here, put some pressure, and that way the dirt breaks apart right there, and I have my first goji. So now I'm just going to hold it there on my spoon, take my goji tray away, and then what I'm going to do is, because this dirt around this goji is a little bigger than I had visualized, which totally can happen, I'm just going to make my hole a little bit bigger. And because I moistened the dirt, the edges or the dirt kind of holds itself into shape. If I wouldn't have done that, then it's all loose and harder to deal with. So what I'm going to do now is place my goji berry into that hole, put my spoon down, and now what I'm going to do is gently straighten out my goji. Now you can bring your dirt up right up to those false leaves, so don't be scared. If you have, let's say, a little leggier goji, you can definitely bury those stems without a problem on these particular shrubs. So then what I want to do is firmly press down the dirt, and definitely don't be scared to put some pressure here, because they really like to be firmly in place. So I'm definitely just being careful around the stem. The first goji is transplanted. Now what I'm going to do is just set this one aside so I don't have to move my camera all over the place. I'm going to just move this container that I've already made a well for and do this once more for you guys. Okay, so let's take a look. So I made this gaping hole here. I'm just going to what I realized is that there is a goji right here that got affected more than this one here. So I'm going to take this one out first, and there's actually two of them. One with the second set of leaves right here, and one with its first set coming. So this is where it gets a little irritating when gojis germinate, because they're so sporadic and they don't germinate real well, that you have them germinating all in different kind of stages. But such is life, we just deal with it. Okay, so I'm gonna pull out two plants at once here, so let's do the same technique. Now I'm already loose going this direction, so that's the way that I am going to actually come. I'm just gonna flip this over here, and I am actually gonna come in this way because I already made this hole here. Now I have a little goji berry right here that I need to be careful of, but I don't really want to disturb him or him because they were really late germinating. So if I can not disturb this side of the container, all the power to me. So let's do this. Again, go right underneath, and I'm just going to see how this is going to break, and it's definitely not going to break as nice. You can see this top layer is going to kind of fall off, so I'm actually going to purposely take it off just so I can see what's kind of happening, this top little bit of a crust. And I'm just going to discard it out of my way for a moment. And what I'm actually going to do, this is where you need to make your best judgment. It's going to break really badly right about here, right beside this one. So I'm actually going to make it purposely, I'm going to make it indent, and I'm going to make it indent closer to this one so it doesn't actually pull these ones in. Okay, let's do this again. And there we go. Now I have them out. So let's move this container again, so you can see a little bit what I'm doing a little bit better. So now I have one goji plant here, and I got one goji plant here, and I'm going to transplant them both, even though this one here is only starting its first set. If I disturb the dirt right now, you just go and disturb it. Just finish the job. So very carefully here, I am going to take these gojis, and I'm going to use my thumb and just put pressure. Now the roots aren't going to be the roots aren't going to be that big yet, and you can see that, and this is why we do this now. So when I separate them, there's actually no intertwining of roots, which is a big positive, because the second you really mess with these roots, oh boy, they sure tell you about it. They hang their heads like crazy. So now I've got 2 hands filled with gojis. So I'm going to place this first one here into my container, gently place it down, and then I'm going to take this one here, then I'm going to take this container and I'm going to put it into my hole here. And I'm just going to gently place it down just like that. Okay, so let's go back and focus on this one. Hey, you can hardly see this little guy, but he's there. So again, what I want to do is just very carefully press this guy down, and I am going to bury it as much as I can up into that false set of leaves. And once again, I'm going to press down the dirt just like that, and I have my second goji nicely planted. Okay, let's move him aside. Let's put this guy in. You can see this guy a little bit bigger. Okay, little guy, here we go. So we do the exact same thing. Again, I'm going to kind of put my fingers right around it, press it down just like so, and then continue to press the dirt around. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm going to do for the rest of my container, and just popping these gojis out, really paying attention how I lift the dirt to not disturb any of these precious little plants. And what you want to do at this stage is just top these off with water after. And what you want to do is just gently put some water around them, once again, just like that. You don't need a ton, but just enough to make the rest of the soil moist, not to drown them, and basically get them right back underneath the grow light, and they should do just perfect. If you wait too long, then those roots are too big and you'll go into shock. But so there you have it. They look great, not too soggy. The plants right now, gojis go into shock immediately, so they look really good so far. And I'm going to transplant the rest of them, and right now the biggest thing is just to keep them moist, keep them underneath the grow light, keep a fan on them, keep that movement going so they stay nice and sturdy, and watch them grow. So thanks so much for watching. Happy planting, and I'll see you on the next video.